We're seeing a zone that isn't in their favor, and I was definitely asking a few questions in the battle. I was like, if the zone doesn't pull their way, what are they going to do? Are they going to be able to sort of play to that standard? They've just answered all of my questions.
I mean, guys, Cooper and Miro, they have a lead. That's a 100-point lead. We have 2 games left to go. As long as they can stay out of their own heads, we could be looking at global champions. Now, we quickly wanted to highlight Venno. This man's is popping off right now. He is fragging out like crazy. Venno is doing what he does.
This is great to see from Venno, and I know their sort of game strategy and their game plan has been so masterfully crafted by his team, of course. BloodX, of course, on the coaching side of things, just doing things fantastically well. And Venno's been such a great player that's developed so much throughout his entire gameplay. He hasn't just been an all-out fragger, just jumping in boxes brainlessly. He has developed into such a fantastic, almost half IGL. He tends to take control in these end games, whilst also fragging out. What can't he do?
Well, especially when you're in a solo situation, you kind of have to IGL for yourself just a little bit because you know your situation the best, and that is exactly what we saw from Venno.
Guys, I want to break down so much. There's just so much happening in this game, but I'm getting word. Games are already ready. We're jumping back all up into the action. So casters, back on up to you.
Thank you guys so much. Always love getting that little bit of analytical insight during the analyst desk segments, but they're absolutely right. We have seen so many pop-off instances from so many different players, and I just want to see if they can keep the ball rolling here in game number 5.
Lucky for us, we can do just that, 'cause the battle bus is here. Let's go. Game number 5 of the grand finals is right before us. This is where we are now in the final stages of the tournament here. After this game, there will only be one more before we crown our champion. So here and now is the most important time of the rounds.
We're watching every single one of these teams begin to depart from the battle bus and look to drop at their respective points. It's always funny, too, when you see the players in between those brief segments, when they're pointing out which chest they actually want to prioritize on their loot paths, depending on the bus pathway itself. But right now, Thomas, Malabuka, they're trying to prioritize this drop and winning it. Big shots coming in already from afar, and that's going to be an assist there for Kanata, even if indirect. Malabuka still shuttered up, but it's not going to be enough. Kanata and Agers will yet again take over the racetrack. But again, the help from afar just did so much there for Kanata and Agers.
This is all he wants. This is all he wants to say. He came to Copenhagen. He showed up to the grand finals. Who had the best score at the end of it? Right now, Kanata and Agers clearly have been kings of the drop. But what can they do after this last game? They unfortunately were finished so soon. They have a chance now to at least fight for more earnings here today. There is still so much prizing on the line. The grand finals means so much more than just first place. Everything in between. It's your legacy. Recent Giannis getting into a fight here against Baka. Baka and Pars are about due for a turnaround fight. Finally, they get to find their wind, their chance. Baka and Pars for NA now gets put up a little bit of numbers.
A lot of NA representation so far to start things off with some of these more heavily contested areas, but as far north side of the map, Crude Harbor section is going to belong to Pars and Baka. Definitely got to be feeling really good about that, especially when you consider in the way that this fight initially started. Almost looked as though Giannis and Reason were going to get the better end of things, but Pars doing a beautiful job to just displace the two, finding that side maneuver to really just approach them from a different attacking side and just cause so many issues.
Miro and Cooper playing so well right now. Miro's won 4 of his 5 FNCS titles without securing a single victory royale. He has been literally Mr. Consistent, but based off of eliminations and endgame runs, a lot of which he's done solo because he's lost his teammate, but I think he's found his counterpart in this recent major, because they've just been playing great Fortnite together.
Hey, first place might mean 65 placement points, but second place at 56 is not half bad by any means.
He's got 2 of those.
Especially when you're able to back-to-back them like what we saw from Miro earlier today. in those solo clutch instances as well. Definitely not an easy position to be in. But a few teams who weren't involved with some of those early engagements, 50-50 drops, right now they're all just on the hunt to see where and when they can acquire their surge tag damage, because the surge strategies, they have been coming in hot all weekend long, but they are needed now more than ever here in Game 5.
Yeah, Brutal Bastion's an interesting spot because Pixie and xtinct have been here. They have been here round after round, but haven't quite gotten into any of the fights. And also, what a great stat. Pixie and xtinct are the first duo since Aqua and Nyrox in World Cup with back-to-back VRs at an in-person event at a LAN. And Aqua and Nyrox set history that weekend when they did that, only to go on and take it all away. But today, we see something completely different here. This story, the standings, of course, Cooper and Miro's their biggest task yet.
Well, Bryce and Chubbs, if there's definitely a team that'd be looking to break a stat like that, they're certainly the ones to keep an eye out for. I mean, you heard the confidence in that post-game interview. We're simply better than everybody else here. And granted, the way that they've managed to creep up in the leaderboards might just be backing them up on that. Teeny and Misha trying to pressure in onto Kitos and xtinct. A nice drop down from Teeny as well. Gonna make quick work of Kitos, and not much left for xtinct to do. Watching his teammate go down so early before you could really wrap around for the assist help.
How impressive so many of these first-time LAN appearance players have been, including Fnajin and Moneymaker here, as they continue to find their stride here, taking out Bobby. Where is Larpex? I think they got the full... No, instead they pushed everyone out, so just got a single elimination, but this is great.
Larpex just barely managing to squeeze away, but he's got to be careful which direction he chooses to run. A couple of other teams lurking just south of the Creaky compound, so depending on the angles that he approaches, some of those other teams might find himself some trouble. Muzz and Paper, all the while, they're just trying to chop out Shari right now. Moderately successful job. Paper looking to push from the front side now. Muzz, another wraparound, but Giras has finally managed to reunite with his duo, so Paper, Muzz definitely reconsidering exactly how aggressively they want to approach this, especially given Paper's loadout. They might need this refresh monster because it'd be nice to have some extra materials this early on.
Yeah, Paper just uncertain, making the call. Hey, is there someone up there? I'm not sure. That slows everything down now. Muzz tries to scout for the information, but doesn't find anything from it. That right there will tell them, okay, Giras and Shari on the run. There was no one there. Little pump fake is going to save them. Now we jump over to xtinct and Foyo. We saw Moneymaker chasing Larpex, but look at that. It might have cost him now as they've run right into the solid wall that is xtinct and Foyo, already a team that has taken a victory out here today. So confidence is definitely there.
Moneymaker, though, won't be able to find a shot just yet. Cancel that. Seems as though he did sneak one up onto xtinct. A little pause here now. Fnine debating which augment he wants to select. Maybe if he can find one that might help him out in this circumstance. But Foyo and xtinct, they seem as though they might run in to finish what Moneymaker had started. Larpex not too far off from where this little skirmish is taking place, but again...
No, he got finished. It looks like xtinct turned around and
finally managed to cut him off.
Immediate headshot. Yeah, immediate headshot right as you said that. xtinct finds an elimination, takes him out. Well, there it is. That's 4 points. You like that?
From the frying pan into the fire, essentially, at that point. But usually how the story goes whenever players are left in those solo situations. Teeny and Misha, though, how many times have we seen this one before? A curious place to be, though. May or may not work out in their favor, but their patience could also play off big.
They're in enemy builds right now as well. I think they're onto something. I think they believe there might be a reboot card here or something worth holding out that will tempt these players to get closer to them. Zagu and Peppo are clearly rummaging around right now trying to find something. So for Misha and Teeny, the cheeky smile on his face right here. He's They're definitely cooking something up.
And bro is looking devious in that player cam. I mean, you got the fingers crossed. He is waiting to see if he can scoop something up here. For Bryson Chubbs, they've got a different nature of attack. One that's a little bit more towards leading the charge, so to say. Here over at Shady Stilts, just trying to get some good utilization out of the mud that's available for some faster rotations. See if maybe they might run into any teams that they could acquire some surge tags on as well. And I've seen quite a few teams sort of hovering around the edge of that north side of the map, just trying to gauge whether or not investing into a full rotation would be worthwhile, given some of the elevation that comes with it. It's always nice when you can get a good aerial view of the lobby.
Definitely that information download is so important, especially in this game. Stacey and POTUS on the move right now, trying to get situated. Little weapons cache for them, but Teeny, Misha, the ambush finally pays off. They catch Peppo out in the open and then come crashing on in with a rocket ram. What a way to start this one off. Very explosive, very aggressive. Misha taking a wall by himself, no builds. What in the world is going on right now? He says, oh, that's wood. I like that. That's weak. Gets right inside. Zagu has to clutch this one out right now. His teammate's hurt. Peppo's on the run. In goes Teeny. Zagu puts up the numbers, though, but Misha finishes the job and clutches out for Teeny.
And that was massive as well for Teeny and Misha, because we saw them waiting for so long. They had practically, well, they had essentially no builds to work with because of the fact that they spent so much time waiting. So they needed those materials. But I guess you can just let other teams do the work for you if you're able to find the eliminations.
Not looking good right now for Cheatin', though. Very low on HP. Trying to decide, man, what do I do with my augments? More importantly, do I utilize these slab juices now? Or should I wait? Pixie, in the meanwhile, trying to scavenge around here, seeing what he can find as he's got more health to spare. The problem is Baka is up on the hill. Duos are in the vicinity, so there it is. It was all worth it. He gets a battle for this, and they should get rewarded here shortly with everything they need. Nice. It's going to bounce them right back into this. Our second place runners, Pixie and Cheatin', have a chance now to bounce back.
That was definitely the care package that they needed more than anything else right now. I mean, we saw just how down low Cheatin' was starting to look with some of those builds. Pink and Vico, on the other hand, a team that's doing relatively well as far as resources are concerned. But now the question is whether or not they'll get a chance to fully utilize them, because as they make this rotation through Frenzy Fields, seems as though they've managed to spot out another team on the horizon. Whether or not they're aware of the fact that it's Queasy and Veno is a different story entirely, but given the circumstances and where both of these teams are rotating out of, it wouldn't be unlikely for Pink to be aware of the fact that it might be Queasy and Veno rotating out from Kinjitsu.
Yeah, and Kamiya Seti right there at the Frenzy as well, just to the left, so a lot of danger in that area. Meanwhile, dead center, Acorn and Cold stick to their tried and true strategy. Worked last game. Up until now, it's been a little bit of a middling performance, but it only took one to jump them right back into the top 10. Had it not been for Cooper and Miro's ridiculous run, I mean, it would be that much closer inside the top 10. But the conversation's surely skewed right now up towards the top. But Acorn and Cold jumped into it. Queasy and Vino have as well. Tayson and Mustache now have room to make their way into these conversations too, taking down Alec and Worthy there. Nicely done. May have the zone more or less not too far, so they'll be balling out here shortly.
Can't say I'm surprised to see Mustache and Tayson trying to get a little bit more aggressive into the action here, understanding that they need to make up some points to keep themselves in the conversation of that top 10, top 5 territory. Well played here by Tayson and Mustache as well, just staying so close together here as they charge Oshi's last remaining hope. Unfortunately for Alex and Worthy, they'll have to wait for our final match to make another debut, see whether or not they can catapult themselves a little bit further up the leaderboards. But look at this, Rift Island we've been seeing a decent amount of action pick up as the games go on here. X-Force immediately getting lit up, trying to farm some materials off the roof of this big building here on Rift Island. Fortunately for him, he's got Rebob Kabam toss him a couple of heals, but at the same time, Misha, Teeny, they managed to fly right in to join the heart of the action here. X-Force and Robot might not get this as freely as they initially believed.
I love this because Teeny and Misha, these last couple games have just been menaces. Pushing everyone, playing for Rift Island. They're trying to come back. They're trying to make this money right now. And they're not willing to give it up without a fight. And that's what it's all about. This is exactly what players fear the most, though. Rift Island being highly contested like this. When teams are desperate to jump up the standings, Misha and Teeny are doing it here and now. They got to get in. They got to get closer. Or they'll end up giving it away.
Seems as though Misha and Teeny may be hoping that they can try and catch X-Force and Robob on the rotation out, especially if some other duos try to get involved here. But X-Force and Robob, these guys aren't the only ones going up top. But a massive benefit here because Pixie, it's Trulex, it's Chicho running Pixie down, and they find the knock. Trulex gonna look for the finish. Certain that he eliminates Pixie in the process there, and yeah, it's just cheating, trying to hold it down by his Losum, but he's locked outside the zone. He's got to find a way to rotate in, but the edge just being so well guarded right now.
Surely has to do with a little bit of greed. They were doing pretty much just fine, but trying to go in there to see what they can find out, and they just get met with a team. Not what you expect at all. Cheating now, thinking the same thing. Shows himself for a second, and there were players waiting. Bugha and Threats don't drop a beat there. The damage was catastrophic. Cheating now has to see if he can pick up his teammate's reboot card and pick him up, but you're going to have teams like Bugha and Threats just looking in, trying to see if they can get points gifted to them.
I mean, even if Cheatin does get the reboot ban at this point, just how beneficial is it really for himself and Pixie? You have to imagine that Bugha and Threats haven't really strayed too far from their initial position. They recognize the fact that Cheatin is a solo. They're still hanging out midway between Cheatin, Pixie, and where they need to be as far as the zone is concerned. They might just be able to shoot down Pixie before he even gets a chance to land. Pixie doing his best to try and juke inside the air, and well, it does seem as though Bugha and Threats have started to move off now, recognizing that they need to keep pushing forward. But Cheatin and Pixie, they've got a lot of ground to cover.
Does seem like trouble in paradise right now as Misha's turning online. Queasy possibly has fallen as well. Big trades happening everywhere.
It's going to be Queasy and Mano that have actually met their fate here in game number 5. They'll have to wait it out as well for the battle bus to depart in match number 6. And who better to be the one to possibly shut him down? It's Bastroki and Kylie.
Wow.
Applying so much pressure. Queasy and Meno, they were in 7th place here. And now they've got to sit and wait to see where this leaves them on the leaderboard by the time it gets to the completion of game number 5. And that's going to be all it takes. Seti and Cammy sure to have seen that one light up in the elimination feed and possibly got a little pep in their step for it.
Yeah, the conversation now for Cammy and Seti is surely, can they start to close this gap and rocket their way on up to first place? They do have a little bit more work to do. Pink and Vico are still up. Cheatin obviously is brought back into the game with Pixie here. This competition still standing strong. Miro and Cooper, we get to touch base with them. This hasn't changed for them. Miro and Cooper are struggling in the mid game here, but Pixie and Cheatin are as well. Except one might say Pixie and Cheatin, much worse situation as they were finished off before they can get to safety due to the hands of Threats and Bugha once again, finding them there on the Storm's edge, waiting for them.
You could just tell that Bugha and Threats were not going to let that one go easy. And now Miro, Cooper, they've just got to continue to try and play things out as cool, calm, and collected as ever before. behind them, recognizing the fact that they might have some pressure on their backsides. Miro trying to be attentive towards how they continue to rotate in. Couple of shots, some damage being applied. Cooper, though, pausing only for a moment. Slight regroup needed. Nutty, though, taking a massive shot. The shields are correct. Some well-placed shots there from Cooper. And that's going to be enough to put a pause to Brazilian duo's pressure points.
Taco, will we be calling this early? Will we be calling the Global Championship early? It just might become mathematically impossible if Cooper and Miro have their run right now. Their closest competition is so far away at this point. Cammy and Seti have a chance now to keep this tournament run alive, but the trophy is so close.
Maintaining nerves is easily one of the most difficult aspects of being inside of this sort of situation here, especially when you look at the likes of Cooper, who again, relatively fresh as far as experience is concerned, but when he's got such a veteran like Miro by his side, it's no wonder they've done an excellent job so far in maintaining their momentum and maintaining their mental as well. But whether or not other teams are going to get a chance to play spoiler, we'll have to wait and see, because right now, as things continue to evolve, Zone continuing to pull just across Rumble Ruins at this point, and all these other teams to the north side now starting to trickle their way back in. We have to remember, Rumble Ruins, that's also Miro and Cooper's starting point.
Yeah, this is home territory, this is hometown, and they're looking to do just that. But everyone's hurt here, but Miro and Cooper finish the job. They get another set of eliminations, the refresh that they needed. And this has been the story game after game. They're hurt. They need an elimination. They need a refresh, and they actually find it. One of the few duos that can legitimately just do it.
This is starting to feel a little bit too good to be true almost. I mean, if I'm Miro and Cooper, I almost want to panic, because it's like, I can't believe that I just keep finding the most perfect refreshes of all time. I mean, Cooper, practically max mats. Miro definitely in a good spot. And the fact that they have so many materials now split between them, that they have so much familiarity as well in this POI, specifically because it's their initial drop. All they got to do is try to continue playing things through. You can see Miro making a push towards the high ground as well.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they want to play for height right here and close this chapter out, but no. Things start to change. Teams start to rocket ram on up. Destruction is ever so near. Head nearby, you can hear the shots. Miro makes the call out. This guy's hurt. I'm going for it. I can use these materials. Finds the wood build, but no, another team below him. Has to back up now. For a moment there, it was almost all over. Shots come in again. This time, Hen claps back for a little bit. And it is getting very, very dangerous here. Bryson Chubbs are still standing. Vico and Pink still in this as well.
Decent discipline, though, from Miro to not try and push that situation any further. He knew that Cooper was simply too far away to actually play backup, and they don't want to necessarily forfeit this positioning. Storm Surge actually is going to be Miro and Cooper's best friend. Another 4 points to be added in the elimination process. I don't think it gets much better than that.
I think he knows that right now, so we'll see if he ends up going for the loop. But Vico and Pink have a lot to do, a lot of work to put in right now, and a long rotate to make here. Almost no material. They would love a refresh and hopefully a rocket ramp to get on out of here, because this is going up and over. The last two terrains have been very difficult to traverse here. And they have a crash pad, so off they go. Up they go. Miro's out. Rocket ram in full effect here. Lands him on the side. Cooper's here to meet with them, but a team's behind them. Good block there. Keeps him up for a moment. Now, looking for the refresh. It's Seti here in front of him. So close, yet so far. Meanwhile, Cammy's on height, holding things down as Duo meets with them. The big heels come out. They need a bounce back. They need these wins.
Cammy and Seti might be at the very top for the time being, but just across the way, it's Kanata, it's Agers. These zones continuing to force these players pressing forward. Well played, though, by Miro and Cooper, and that secondary height layer after the rocket ramp ended. Not the flight path he was hoping for, but for Bryce, man, talk about a tag path. Those are some massive shots that he just landed. Gonna buy him a good chunk of time as well to just pop this big shield potion. make sure that he has 100 full shields, because he's going to need every bit of it.
For Bryce, this is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars if he can hold on. Vico in pink as well. Top 5 is definitely the sweet spot to be in. And any higher, you're extremely happy, but Vico by himself on the move right now. Looking to swing his way around. 5 builds, teams in front, no one behind. Make that 3 now. Lurking. Can he get a refresher? Can he find a player? Sees one to his right. No one's behind them playing so smart right now. Miro comes dashing through here into another end game. It's all placement points from here.
Cooper as well, landing just slightly further apart from his duo, but they found their moment. Good chop of the builds there onto Chicho. Gonna displace him momentarily. Miro nearly managing to collect in the process. Trulix now forced to rocket ram away. Cooper and Miro finally getting a chance to reunite here, but they've got to keep pressing forward. They can't take a moment to pause or relax. So many players
Cooper
pushed in.
turns around, burns down Vico, the savior of his run. He's still on fire here. Cooper now by himself, trapped in the storm, and he falls inside the top 15. Bryce is still up as well. Bryce wants more. He needs more.
If Bryson jumps, Bryce can manage to clutch it out as a solo. Victory Royale might be within his reach here. Crash pad forward, the roaming redeploy gonna get him straight to the front side of the zone. Polarized in the box underneath him. Bryce though, not taking a second to pause. He just wants to look for a closing shot. If he can find some more materials to work with, he might just be able to make it happen. But it's Agers now on height, pressing up. He loses Kanata though in the process. Finds Pars though in the middle of it. A massive shot, but he falls to his demise.
Ran out of builds there in the moment. The win could have been theirs too. But now, back onto the hands of Bryce here, our last standing player inside the top 5, still trying to make a run for it. Swinging his way between builds. He's trying to get caught up and gets trapped in the fly's web there. The spider's web, top 10 now. Threats in Booga, threats in this. Oh my gosh, so many solos still standing here.
We've seen this once already from Threats this weekend, though. Can he make it happen again is the real question we have to ask. Next is Threats hiding just above the water's edge. Recognizes players in the water, and he strikes and he finds it. That's going to be Polarized run. Come to an end. Threats, on the other hand, refresh on the builds, exactly what he needed. All of that brick just going to continue to protect him all the longer.
Lucy's still in this. Give it up for Lucy, Copenhagen. He's finally got a chance here to make some more. 5 elims, 9 total for the team. He still has builds. Threats is looking very healthy, but there's MK Papa who's gonna fall there. There's a player on high ground. Okay, so every team's on a different layer. He's gotta look around here. Lucy needs to make a big decision. Find Shalom. This is Asia, but no! Clap from behind. Threats does not let the beat drop at all. And up he goes, and now he knows it's his chance here, but no, he falls too! And Chico takes it all away.
A massive hit there at the very end. Trulix and Chicho needed the points. But right now, what I need, Monster, is to hear from these two.
Wow, wow, wow. Chicho and Trulix, you have done it at the last moment. You've bagged yourself a victory royale and currently 9th on the leaderboard. Tell me about those final moments.
That's really good. I got soul clutched. Trulix died. First moving. He got full max mats. So I just started, got height in last moving and won.
Yeah, and you managed to main the focus. What was it like watching all of this go down?
So it was crazy in first moving. No, in like second moving, I landed in like four people in the box, and then everyone died. So I just told them like to come take all the mats and just play the game out. I gave him a rocket. He went to the zone and did the impossible.
It's so tough in the top 10, boys. What are you playing for as we head into the 6th and final game of the FNCS Global Championship?
I mean, we're just trying our best. We're contested every single game at one of the worst spots to be contested at. If we were uncon, we 100% place the best, and we're conned by, he says, one of the best Ospan players in the game, but clearly doesn't look like it.
Who?
50. Kalski is in top 50.
Who is the off-spawn battling duo that you're having to face each time?
Banti and TK.
And clearly, you guys are coming out on top. Good luck in the final game, boys. And congratulations on your victory royale. Copenhagen, please give it up for Trulex and Chicho!
Trulex, Chicho, congratulations, the victory royale. It's gotta feel so good going into game number 5 with only a single game left to go. Getting that's just gotta energize them so much.
Especially in the way that they did it as well. Of course, Chicho's saying right there, solo clutching since, was it first moving zone? Incredible stuff. And that just shows how important it is to have that teammate that can make those big calls right there at the end, which Trulex was doing so well.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Trulex communicating that you have to take all of my material that I have, everything that is in my loadout, and use this. And the fact that Chicho went for high ground as a solo towards that 10th zone was so courageous and really ended up working well for him.
And that's something that we like to see out of solos in endgames. It's very, very easy to sort of box up and try and play as much.
Big smile on his face.
Oh, he's loving it. This is and for good reason, because he's just done something right there that's so confident in going for high as a solo. So many players will just sort of back off a little bit, be a little bit more passive, but it's the players that do take huge risks like this, even though you're a solo, are the ones that pay off. And look at this from Chicho.
We did see this play very similar from like Cammy and Seti, Queasy and Veno, right? The difference is when they chose to do it. We kind of did it in these other much larger moving zones with like 25 people left. Here in this like 1v1v1, you're like, okay, it's me and 2 others. If I disappear from the equation and I reappear someone else and slam down, crack all these builds, it's gonna be enough. It's gonna give me a moment to try and strike. So incredible. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. We have 1 game left to go. Can anyone stop Cooper and Miro?
All right, well, let's, do the math a little bit. It's 65 points for a victory royale. If they get double-digit eliminations with 10, that's going to be another 40. So 100 points is not going to be enough if Cooper and Miro go down immediately and then Chubbs and Bryce get the best game that we have seen so far. Then there is a slight possibility that, of course, there is still Pixie and Cheatin who have a slight chance.
They do. I was looking at that leaderboard right there. 27 eliminations for Miro and Cooper.
Great.
And throughout that game, we saw exactly how they got to that number. These guys are W-keying goats. I don't know how they're doing it, yet still staying alive. And something that I noticed there throughout that whole game was Miro was so confident in their Storm Surge strategies. He wasn't even carrying a shotgun throughout the mid-game. Their strategy then, going into that 7th zone, 6th zone situation, they try and go for a big refresh. Then he picks up the shotgun. He drops the assault rifle. Then he has that SMG and shotgun to play so well in endgame. And the way that they're taking walls, of course, we have Miro who's actually spraying the wall, and then Cooper's the one that's claiming it. So well played.
And Cooper and Miro, when they ran out of builds in the very end of that game right there, you saw that they waited, stayed on low ground, and where a lot of people will try and stay at the front of zone so they can kind of peek behind them, they stayed behind and rotated just on the edge, and were even able to get another elimination in that moment just because their positioning was so smart. They knew that it was going to be so chaotic, either on top or in front, so they stayed in the back corner. It was perfect.
Just disgusting. Their average going into that game, their average placement 5.25.
Wow.
Just nuts. Now, before we get going, it's highly likely we're looking at our global champions, but what I want to focus on is the prize money. Yes, $1 million, a championship axe, a championship trophy, and a title. But keep in mind, as we watch these duos go head to head, think about this for a moment. 2nd place and 3rd. If I'm a duo and I can get a single point difference, that is literally $250,000 of difference. So y'all need to make some noise, pay attention, because every single interaction is going to be huge.
That's absolutely right. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars between each of these places. There's so many different storylines. The story is not over, even though Cooper and Miro are so far ahead. And I mean, who knows what can happen? We saw it at Invitational. Will they get landed on?
Ooh, could you imagine Cammy and Seti taking a page from the book of Queasy and Veno? We'll have to wait and see.
I would love to, but you know what? We've got something special lined up for you. We've got our man Levin2K on the stage to get us hyped for game number 6.
The final game is here. It is time to crown some champions. Royal Arena, are you ready? The players on this stage have given everything of their being to be here for this moment. to be here for this trophy. So I need to give you everything you've got. I ain't starting this game until we tear the roof off this building. Royal Arena, are you ready? It is time! Game number 6 is here!
Here we have it. Game number 6 is here. The Royal Arena is ready, and the grand finals couldn't be more hype than this. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see how this all plays out. We have so much to give out, so much on the line.
Almost terrifying for a second there, listening to Levin on that stage, going absolutely crazy alongside all these fans here in the building. You guys have been ecstatic to witness and watch you cheer on. But some of these players still need your energy for one more game here. Royal Arena as Thomas HD, Malabuka. They've managed to survive the initial drop, but the damage is still yet to come next because Malabuka, Thomas, a little bit further away from Kanata and Agers. They wish to play this one out to give themselves the best opportunity possible to work their way up the leaderboard. Could see some action coming back, but for Pixie, Cheatin', trouble for sure. Pixie already knocked Cheatin', though, might have an opportunity here to revive his teammate.
They're off to a pretty rough start right now. This is gonna set them back time, resources, and most importantly, damage, as that is the hardest to come by after you start losing these opening moments. But it does make you wonder, why couldn't Kanata and Agers just split racetrack before? Why couldn't they survive a little longer? They clearly played so well when they were able to survive, but that's a story for another time today.
It's not
for now.
necessarily just Kanata and Agers at that point, though. Thomas and Malabuka wanted that just as badly as them. And right now, neither side really faring all too well for it.
Well, we're gonna have to put a button on it. Grand Finals Match 6 is here. Koopa and Miro have an incredible lead over the competition. And that is, of course, the battle for $1 million. But back at the racetrack, there's a little more action going down. Kanata and Agers are on the hunt. I spoke too soon. They want to close this one out in good fashion. NA versus EU all weekend long here. And EU has been the one to pay the price so far, but with both times fully situated here to 2v1, Agers and Kanata close the deal here. Thomas HD left to pick up the pieces.
For Agers and Kanata, not a whole lot to grab there off of Malabuka, but at the same time, 4 elimination points is 4 elimination points, and they'll be more than happy to try and take away. Kanata and Agers, though, seeming as if there might have been a little bit of a rise of interference there in that elimination process.
I was gonna say, find out where that puts Kanata and Agers. You know, they might just have that late tournament stride comeback. Hey, there's still plenty of money on the line here. A lot to fight for outside of the bragging rights. Vidil and Mr. Savage, though, in the meanwhile, are fighting up here against Thoric. And I got the update. It looks like that puts them at 13th place. Not bad for a team fully contested. Meanwhile, Vidil, though, claps back onto Thoric. Nicely done for Mr. Savage and Vidil.
If there's ever someone who loves a good box fight, you're definitely going to be looking at Vidil here. Kylie for Strokey also trying to see if they can win their own little mashups here. Deep's outside of Steamy Springs territory for Strokey, though. It's a massive pump shot. And just like that, going to be forced to take a step back here, leaving Kylie on the offensive, but Kylie's got some great options. Datus, though, no chance that he's going to be backing up Stain anytime soon. He's got to hide behind that tree. 2 versus 1 pressure, and Stain just not able to match up. For Strokey and Kylie will win this one for the time being, but Datus might still be able to collect the reboot card, but he's got to be careful that he doesn't get Elim too.
Just doesn't get better than that when your team is hitting you shots like that. The backup can't even come in to support you. Axe Force and Robot. Robot had the run of his life last game, really turning up And this was the same story. It's all early game fights. They didn't find much. They were hurt, but no! Sniped from behind! And Axe Force is gonna pay the price too as Sherry takes the elimination. It's Paper and Muzz here. They know this team had to be hurt because Robob had full advantage before that happened. And Paper is devastating with that sniper, but Breacher Shotgun's gonna let him open up any door he pleases. They find Gyros, big tags there, not a finish, but he's hurt.
Absolute miracle that Gyros did not go down in the process there, though. But Muzz, Paper, they are relentless with this charge. Jerry doing everything he can to try and create some distance, but just look at how far apart the split is now. Gyros left to fend for himself. Paper, Muzz now have their choice of pickings. Seems as though they're going to divert their attention to Gyros for the time being. Paper, though, recognizing the fact, another interference play, this time coming out of Nutty, just outside of Shady Springs. And I can't believe this right now. Just the fact that Gyros and Sherry nearly managed to escape.
This is Savage of a deal. Close the deal. Close the books on Bolt's run here. Back to the tournament lobby he goes. That's going to be it for his grand finals run. And for every team that falls now, for every team that closes their chapter here at the Global Championships, you have to respect them for making it this far. Your 50 best duos across the entire world competing against one another here today, giving us the show, of course, here in person and online. What a celebratory moment here for this $4 million land.
And just look at Cooper boxed up so high right now. Rumble Ruins just in the center of this current zone. Granted, the zone obviously very large for the time being, but still Cooper definitely trying to just be as attentive as possible to see where he might be able to secure some good surge tank damage from, because you have to remember, this team, they've been uncontested all day so far, and yet have seemingly not struggled all that much as far as their surge strategy is concerned. So they're definitely making up for the damage elsewhere. And we've seen multiple instances of them doing an excellent job while they're tarping, finding those eliminations in the process. You know, and Queasy, though, here at Steamy Springs, they've got a Pink and Vico smashed in between them. But Queasy and Edo, they want to take their time here. Don't want to panic by any means.
Not looking good right now for Pink, though, as he loses all his shield. Look how quickly Vino is coming in to constrict. But no, he's going to back up. Respects the push, doesn't have Queasy here quite to back him up, so something comes out. Something must have been a little fishy in the air, so not worth it. The damage is welcomed here, undoubtedly. The zone now continues to move on. Now we jump back to Pixie and Cheatin'. So they have survived. They have gotten back up.
Don't want to say against all odds necessarily. Think that that initial strat was because of the fact that Pixie might have been picked off in the air off the initial drop. But Cheatin' and Pixie, they still need to ensure that they have a much easier time as far as their rotational positioning is concerned, because that's definitely something that they encountered a lot of difficulties with in the last match. Ruga and Threats able to put a halt to their attempts to overtake first place last game. And here, they're still within reach, but it's only getting that much further away because Cooper and Miro, they are not taking any risk that they don't need to.
As long as Cooper and Miro stand, the chances for others are not possible. So for now, they are truly the final boss here. Seti and Cammy, however, will still have a big mountain to climb. A lot of eliminations and a huge endgame run, at least somewhere inside the top 3 to snatch up 50 or more points.
And we can't forget about Bryce and Chubbs either. I mean, they've been slowly but surely sneaking their way up the leaderboard. Started off outside of the top 10, then all of a sudden they're top 5 now. In that top 3, threatening for top 2 position. You have to remember, it is tens of thousands of dollars differences that we are talking about here. So for so many of these players, just on the cusp inside of these top 5 ranges, Cammy, Seti, trying to ensure that Yumi and Source can't intervene with their plans here at the Frenzy Field, but Cammy gonna look to reorient on his positioning. Sees the snipe attempt coming out from Source, quick on the edits as well. Not gonna let himself fall victim to that one just yet.
Quick response there to the sniper glint. Here's Chubbs and Bryce. This is exactly what they've done all day long. Continue to find fights in the shady stilts, find fights north, and find success while doing it. This time to the potential Giannis, who's in front. Sniper's in hand. Bryce showing us what he's got. Doesn't quite land that, but the tags on the follow-up are very good. Meanwhile, Flixie finds a quick knock onto Kanata, so there's trouble in paradise all around us right now, unfolding here for the last game. For Pixie and Cheatin', let's get a little update real quick on them. They're doing just fine inside their home territory, but it's time to move. They can't stay here for much longer. The zone's already telling them they got to go.
Could be difficult to get across these icy islets as well. For Pixie and Cheatin', definitely going to use a couple of these slap splashes, not only for the slap effect, but obviously just to regenerate some of that HP that they need. We've seen how efficiently some of these other teams can be as far as those 3, 2, 1 countdowns are concerned, and it doesn't matter if you started off with 200, you might just end up with nothing in the process here. Clement nearly proving a point.
Wow.
What I was just speaking of, because Pixie now forced to expend some more resources just to replenish some of his shields, and Clement still trying to see just how aggressively he can try to lock out Pixie on this rotation.
Not making it easy by any means right there. Definitely going to cost him a fair amount. Bila and Peterbot still standing in the distance. Cold and Acorn up as well. Seti, Cammy, Snazy, Podesai, all in the conversation here. For Cold and Acorn right now, I like where they're at. Just in 7th place here, so real chances to jump up and earn hundreds of thousands of more. Any team inside the top 10, if you take a win, you're getting paid, son.
Almost got a little scared for Acorn there on how high up he just went. But Acorn's not the one in trouble right now. It's Vasquez, Pen, attempting to take out Misha and Teeny, but Teeny from the bottom, chopping out Vasquez in the process. And that's gonna be an easy double elimination there from Misha and Teeny. More than happy to collect those points. They've been a menacing duo for sure all day long, and just continue playing spoiler for so many of these other teams in the lobby.
Every game we see them taking down different teams of varying degree and skill level. Vino goes for some shots there, ends up trading a few. Same for them, continue to rotate deep into the south side and then swing around on these western zones. So the strategy hasn't really changed much. In no way Teeny gets another game where the Rift Island is next to them. They're just continuing to fight for it. They might have the best 3-game tournament run, at least for teams that were down at the bottom trying to come back. They haven't quite the comeback so far.
They're definitely attempting it, and so far, so good as far as this capture point is concerned, but you can definitely see a couple of neighbors starting to work their way into the Rift Island. Teeny and Misha, though, they're just looking to secure this capture point as quickly as possible. Again, 15 points that they could potentially acquire here on top of all the goodies that come with the capture point.
They were in 35th place coming into this game. If they secure this, they jump up into 29th. And think about before this, they were so much further down, one of the last placing teams, and all of a sudden now, they're at 4 eliminations in a Rift Island with 15 points secured potentially to be theirs now. Just really fighting their way back into this tournament here.
Look, I know that the business turret is primarily used just to get an idea of where your opposition might be at, but it seemed as though iDrop and Mappy had no idea that that business turret had even been placed in the first place. Well executed mission there from Misha and Teeny to secure the Rift Island for the time being. Capture point does seem as if it's going to go their way. We'll have to check back in on that a little bit later on, but Pixie, Cheatin' continue trying to keep that threatening position here for first place. As long as Pixie and Cheatin' are out, Cooper and Miro cannot count themselves as our global champions anytime soon.
Nope. But Cheatin has to be careful. Trulex and Chicho were the same team that did finish their last tournament run, so do have to be careful. Cooper and Miro, however, do have the Rumble Ruins, continue to be the safe zone for now, so a lot of time to work with here. Metal struggling as they don't really find much here, but otherwise, so long as they've gotten their tags, they should be just fine.
And given that they're bound to have spotted out some teams looking to make the rotations in towards this center part of the map, with the way that the zone just continues to pull their direction, but now, finally, they'll be forced to reposition for the first time in a while. And still, it's not too far that they've got to go, but they need to be careful with some of those dips in the elevation. You don't want to get caught out inside any of these jungle trenches.
Let's see it. Tayson Mustache on the move now. They have to move in. Zone's going west once again, so we're going to have some very interesting tournament at play. Thomas HD and Malabuka survived the drop somehow, escaping away, remaining back in it. So Thomas actually managed to save Malabuka, get the reboot card, bring him back. And they could be the players that topple the Giants up top, but
they have no idea.
I thought they did for a second. I'm not gonna lie. The ambush comes out and Miro puts up a fight already. Now he knows, wait, there was someone lurking underneath us. Be careful.
And it's not just anyone that's lurking underneath them. It's Malabuka, it's Thomas. Two EU Titans. Well, they might not have had the day that they were hoping for. They're still gonna look to try and pounce back at least a few positions on that leaderboard. And they could definitely put a devastating stop to Miro and Cooper's run if Miro and Cooper are not careful on their rotation out. But it does seem as though for the time being, Miro Cooper, they're gonna take a moment here just to collect their thoughts, fully ensure that they've got the proper position, the proper pathway. Thomas, though, he's tired of waiting. He's just gonna look to charge right through them with that rocket ram. Good shot, though, placed from Miro. And now it's gonna be Thomas. It's gonna be Malabuka looking to try and turn back. Seems as though other teams possibly having caught wind of some of the action taking place here at the Rumble Ruins. And Miro Cooper, they know they've got to keep it moving. They can't afford to get stuck here now. They need to get inside the edge of zone before other teams start trying to lock them out.
Here's one of the strengths, too. This is their drop. They know exactly how to maneuver it, so great for the time being. And they're just like, hey, look, we have so much surge. Let's just chill out. They go to the boat, they retreat back, go back to the heals that they know are there, and they play it smart. This is really showing that Miro and Cooper want that payday. They want that big check that could be waiting for them. This could be $1 million med kit right here that just keeps them in the game and away from Thomas HD and company. Every play now matters. Every play so important to the remainder of this game for them.
Could potentially give them the ultimate dead side rotation if you think about it, because nobody else is going to be trying to stick around like these two have been. So you can see other teams like Queasy and Veno, they've continued trying to just aggress ever forward into the next zones, but danger from above here. Queasy gonna need a moment just to replenish some of his shields.
You know what? Re and Ritual as well. You got to give them so much credit. They are continuing to find eliminations. They may very well be another team fighting for top 3 by the time this is all over. For Pixie and Cheatin here, they're just trying to hold on to their second place and fight their way to #1. They've already gotten 2 victory royales. Asking for a third feels near impossible, but it's got to be done if they want to be the global champions. Cheatin, Pixie running past the team here. Don't go for the peek, but instead play defensively now. It's Gab Zero in the box next door. Another team lands on him. Who is this? It's Yuma.
Yumi and Source could pose a huge threat right now for Cheatin and Pixie. Cheatin doesn't exactly have the most ammo to work with right now. It's going to be super dependent on his Maven auto shots to connect. Pixie as well trying to break through builds with this breacher, but it's going to be Source Yumi still just outside of their box. Pixie now trying to see if he can buy his duo a little bit of time here, but they're just caught in between this entire mess.
That might have been the biggest mistake right there. They pulled Source into the box, but they are so deathly afraid of losing second place. They are getting pushed back when they could have easily finished the elimination. But this is tournament fear. This is placement fear starting to kick in here.
You can almost see the panic.
This could be one of the most expensive lessons they learn. I hope they fight back here.
It is just crazy right now how hesitant Pixie and Cheatin are, and the hesitation is finally going to cost them. Cheatin has been knocked in the process. Pixie picking up his teammate now, hoping, nobody realizing that he's just below, but he realizes now he's gonna have to forfeit it. Tries to wrap around now. The UV and Soars won't be able to find the breacher shot that he needs though. Down to his last 17 shotgun shells here inside of this breacher. Twin Mag not gonna do him much good in such close combat. And Pixie now looking for the full retreat, throwing out metal builds in the process, trying to see if he can get down to the low ground, see if he can hide for a moment in the water here around Eclipse Estate. But he might just be open season for the rest of the lobby as Pixie now, in a moment of desperation, continues trying to build for his life. Hide from this rock, hope that the chest can give him something, anything to work with.
He needs builds from that. That's all he's trying to get at this point. No rocket ram or anything in sight. He's just got to keep going. Vino shuts him down, and down goes Pixie and Cheatin before they can earn any points. And just like that, their tournament run is over. How high can they hold here? As now, Cooper and Miro have the dream run of their lives unfolding before them.
But you can see their composure. There's no celebratory factors coming out just yet. They know Bryce, Chubbs, Cammy, Seti, these are teams that could definitely make a resurgence if they're not careful. They want every point possible in this moment, and they might just find it. They've got an excellent spot just outside the edge zone here. Decent amount of ground to cover as well, but Chubbs as a solo, he actually doesn't have Bryce with him. This is a best case scenario for Cooper and Miro.
So tough for Chubbs though. Again, hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line here. Life-changing money for Chubbs and Bryce. And their third place spot is standing on shaky ground here. He's by himself, but the smile says it all. He knows there's a chance here. I can still do this. Just gotta play smart. Gotta play to the instincts. Here we go. Rocket Ram comes out. He's off to the air here. Down is gonna land, potentially on a team. Meanwhile, Miro's in a fight, continuing to push through this lobby here. Placement points now to be earned. Every team that falls now will push teams closer and closer to more prizing.
Keep in mind though, Miro and Cooper, they might just run into Muzz, and Muzz, he lost Paper earlier on. Don't believe he's had an opportunity to look for the reboot either, based on when Paper was picked off. So now Miro in the backside, Merstash in Tayson's box. He could go massive here. He wants to find the shot to connect. Both teams gonna get dropped another layer here. Inside the box though, gonna be Tayson first to fall. Cooper and Miro just continue to grow the count. 324 points currently on the leaderboard. And Cooper, despite having been knocked, Miro's still going.
No way, but he finds Kylie there too with a huge finish. And his teammate gets finished off now too. Shot from the side here, he has no more build. He needs this refresh. If not, it's over, and down he goes. There is still a runway in front of Cammy and Seti. If they can get over 10 eliminations and win this game, that will be a 100-point run. So it's not over yet. Chubbs falls too. Down goes Bryce, down goes Chubbs. It's all or nothing. Copenhagen, hold your breath. Let's see how far Cammy and Seti can go. Will you put your money on it, is the question.
Hard to ever count Cammy and Seti out, but when they need still another 9 eliminations, they've got to find the players first. Cammy gonna rocket ram forward. Seti soon to follow. Seti though, he's lost his shields entirely as he drops back down with the rest of the lobby. Seti nearly out of the count for real this time. And now Cammy doing what he can to try and back his duo up. Seti will find a brief moment, but it still might not be enough. They need these eliminations. It doesn't matter if they get the placements.
Here we go, Cammy on the run right now, trying to find some eliminations. Moneymaker might just be the next one, but another team's next door. Cammy has a decision to make, misses out on the opportunity to find elimination. Seti here, still 22 players in this lobby. Anything can happen right now. Should they just go on a run? Should they go on a streak? Acorn still up, off to the side. As a solo right now. No builds for Acorn either. It's looking a little dicey here.
But Acorn doing everything he can still just to try and see if he can buy himself in cold. Another couple of points, everything matters as far as placements are concerned for some of these other teams. Sure, it might not be first, but it's still the difference between thousands of dollars as far as his leaderboard is concerned. Acorn's gonna try to take a shot from some players on the backside. KVM Rapid looking for his escape. He still has Batman Bugo with him. So many solos and a land of duos, but the zone is gonna pull back in Acorn's favor. Cammy, meanwhile, Seti, meanwhile, they're still keeping the charge going.
How are they still alive right now? Truly fighting for it. Cammy needs a second here. He's got to drink the slurp juice or at least find a siphon. Something up the two. Trulex, Chiche on the low ground here. Have to continue to fight back. Have to continue to fight back. It's all or nothing now. You need everyone here. They have to finish things up. They have to take out the lobby. Earn as much as you can. The chance is theirs. And there you have it. Cammy and Seti will have to fight their way up to earn as much as possible here, but what a run it has been for Cammy and Seti. Rapid and Batman Boogar in front of them. Who will be the next to fall?
It is an absolute scramble, though, throughout the low ground. Teams are just falling all over the place, and it's going to be finally Cammy, Seti, with a little bit of a layer separation here. Other teams in the mid-ground. But it's going to be Flixie first. Oh! Nearly putting an end to the Polish run, but instead, Cammy, Seti turning around 180, no problem.
3 eliminations now. Trulex, Chicho on the high ground with 6. All of a sudden, trying to make a comeback here. What a tournament run it has been. You got to have nothing but appreciation and support for Cammy and Seti, who are fighting for it and keeping it interesting. Oh my gosh, 4 HP, down goes Chicho. Cammy will not give this up.
champion.
The vibes in this room right now are absolutely insane. Congratulations once again, Cooper, Miro, global champions. They hit the ground running. A second place, a fifth place. They did not stop. Mini Minor Kelly, they had eyes and sight on that trophy. They came into today, they knew what they wanted, and they broke through.
What a start for the day for them. What a finish to the day for them. They were almost faultless throughout the entire day. I'm trying to look for things that could have been better. Maybe they could have done that differently. They just popped off. I don't know how they did it.
Every single step of the competition, from the early to mid to late game, when it came to farming, when it came to engagements, when it came to rotating, they did everything almost perfectly. It was absolutely incredible to watch this duo do what they do best, and that is consistency.
What a great storyline for this duo as well. You have the experience of someone like Miro, who I was going to say 5. Let's make that 6.
Oh, yeah.
FNCS titles to his name. Of course, picking up Cooper, an underrated, less experienced IGL who has taken the reins and led them to a huge victory by an absolute landslide almost.
And we've talked about this throughout the entire weekend. The fact that this duo almost didn't exist, that it literally came down to a coin flip. This is a story for the ages and one that we will never forget in Fortnite.
Today, history is made. And it's not only Cooper and Miro that are global champions, but that is North America put on the map. From Invitational going to EU, the global champions will come home to NA. Let's take a look at our overall results, because take a look at the prize money. This was a battle for second place. Cammy and Seti coming out from just outside the top 5. Trulex and Chicho both going head to head. And in the final moments of that game, it was enough. Cammy and Seti come out of nowhere and jump up in a second.
So many people would have said about Cammy and Seti that they're a 12-game team, right? We usually have 12 games over grand finals. This was 6 games. A lot of people would have said, okay, they're not necessarily going to do as good because they're not big game players like we've seen Queasy and Veno have. They're not going to get crazy amounts of eliminations. But they've just proved all of those people wrong. They were consistent throughout the whole day, which is exactly what we expect from them. Even when zones were just not in their favor today, they still did very, very well.
No, we have a lot of these Northwestern zones, and Cammy and Seti made sure to grab that tower every single time so that they were able to be aware and rotate early. And even though it seemed like they had some issues with Storm Surge, they did not let that bring them down, and they were able to rotate that into so much good aggression. And my goodness, that Gunner Stinger SMG that we saw Cammy and Seti using towards the end there was definitely such a huge part of their success in game number 6.
I wanted to highlight one other duo on that list. In your 5th place, the Asia region represent MK Papa and Shalom. Congratulations to them, a top 5 in the global championship. Massive, massive congratulations as we continue to go down the list here. Pixie and Cheatin started off in such a strong position, and they end in 4th place, $300,000 for the duo. This is the 4th best duo in the world.
I mean, these guys, they're going to be feeling on top of the world right now, because these are 2 underrated players. I think they're a lot more rated now after that. Coming 4th place in the EU region. I mean, what a fantastic performance those guys. Just let it fall off there just at the end. Maybe nerves got a little bit to them, but 4th place.
Well, we saw how many Western zones they were in, coming all the way from Brutal Bash and having the likes of Booga and Threats constantly block their way into zone. The fact that they were able to get back-to-back victory royales and still have these rough last 2 games and still do as well as they did speaks volumes.
Absolutely. I want to relive that final game from Cooper and Miro. We've got a listen in standing by, so let's hear it.
You're good, bro. Don't even listen. Like I said, I'm smiling. I'm dead ass smiling. I'm dead ass smiling. We're the best players. I got Cannon. We're the best players in this lobby. On my life, we are. Pixie died. Oh my god. I'm sweating, bro. You're good. Loosen up, bro. I know. I'm not even like nervous, bro. I'm just sweating. Hey, chill, bro. Top 25 comes so soon. I'm just gonna literally play my life. Challenge. Top 26. See one team to die. No noise challenge, bro. Okay. No noise challenge, yeah? Oh my god, Pixie spectated me. No noise challenge, no noise challenge. We should chase him, bro, I swear. Can you come? Okay, yeah, no, we can. We can chase another kid. No, it's a solo, please get to me. Okay, I'm on you. I'm listening, all you. IGL, go. Yeah, we like green. I'm in. I'm in. Yeah, same. I got dropped down. I got dropped solo. Wait, I'm in a box. Dead. Jordan. Yeah, get body, chill. Got finished. I got mass, I'm playing my life.
Man, you could just, you hear that moment, I'm nervous. Why am I nervous? He already knew, right? You heard it from Cooper's watch. Dude, I've got a big smile on my face. They knew going into that last game, it was just a victory lap. They had it all locked up.
Yeah, they did. And I was saying to you, Zeke, before that game, imagine going into a final game of a tournament like this when you pretty much have it all wrapped up. What is the feeling like to do that? It must be absolutely incredible. And of course, they didn't just back down. They didn't just try and double key and make a mess of it. They wanted to close out strong. And even in that end game, they played very, very well. And I mean, you can forgive them for being a little bit nervous in those moments, I think.
Oh, it is definitely deserved. And I mean, just looking at how far ahead they are from the rest of the pack, to say that you are almost 60 points ahead of the reigning invitational champs of Cammy and Seti is just another accolade to add to their belt. But Zeke, I believe we have a special surprise right now.
We do. Gents, if you don't mind putting on these headsets, no big deal. We just have your FNCS Global Champions right here on the stage. Royal Arena, make some noise for your Global Champions, Miro and Cooper. Guys, first off, let's go, guys! Let's go! You did this! You guys have worked so hard. Let's first shine a light. The coin toss. Talk to me about this coin toss. How did this all go? Is this real? Is this made up?
Yeah. I didn't really want to play the game too much no more. And I was like, you know what? I'm doing nothing better. I'm getting a teammate, and I'm coming back. I don't care. Like, I just was. I flipped the coin, and I was like, all right, we'll play on Cooper.
I mean, Coop, did you think back then a coin flip would lead to $1 million FNCS Global Championship title?
I mean, not at all. I mean, back then, I only had 5K earned when we started playing.
Oh my gosh.
Got to up that number now.
Oh, yeah. He's the best to ever do it.
Hey, man, live in the moment. You live in the moment.
I mean, Cooper, you just mentioned it right there. You were a very underrated player, 5K earned when you started playing with Miro. Tell me what it's like to play with someone like him. What's he taught you about the game to get to this stage?
Miro's taught me so much. I mean, whenever we first started playing, it was my first time ever IGLing. But being with the best fragger to ever touch the game kind of comes easy, you know? It was great, man. I've learned so much.
I mean, Miro, landing Rumble Ruins unconned definitely seemed to give you guys such a big advantage. How did you guys use that for your success in all 6 games?
I mean, I wouldn't really say our drop shot was an advantage. Some games we were leaving with like no mats and everything. I say just being confident, honestly. Like, I know I'm the best in this lobby, 100%. I came into here, I was thinking, like, after last Invitational, I did bad, I was down. Like, I felt so down, but then I realized I'm like, I got not 1, but 2, but 3, but 4, but 5 FNCS wins, make it 6 now. I just need to be confident. I played confident. I was just running around killing people, eliminating people, sorry. We did what we had to do, honestly. Like, that's all I can say.
How did you guys bounce back, right? So you guys got knocked into the lower bracket. For some people, they're maybe looking at anyone in that situation thinking the mentals must be rocky. You guys came in today. I just thought, man, y'all came up from the upper bracket, right? Nothing changed.
Oh.
I think through the first bracket, I came here very nervous. I mean, this being my first major LAN, I mean, this is my 3rd grand finals in general.
Wow.
I came in super shook. I feel like I was really unconfident. So going into Heat 2, I kind of just played my own game. Mero helped a lot with that the day before. He just got me locked in, got me in my game. And then finals, I just never played better in my life. It was amazing.
It's insane.
That's absolutely fantastic. I mean, you know, obviously, Mero, you're so decorated. And there's so many times where I feel like we kind of almost not discredit Cooper, but it's like we talk so much about you, and then on this stage, Cooper, dude, what in the world? There was just moments where it's just you, and you were just in your flow state, and it didn't matter, man. You were going to go the distance, find those eliminations, the placement. Where did that come from, dog?
I don't know. I'm just great.
Guys, thank you so much. Can you just, final question, try and dig down, focus.
Yep.
How does it feel? How's it feel?
I mean, honestly, this feels so insane that I hope everybody in the world gets to experience something like this. This is insane. Like, I've never thought from playing video games when I was like a little kid to just sitting on stage in front of this many people is insane. Like, I can't even imagine how many people are watching me right now. This is insane. My mom's watching back home. I love you, Mom. Love my whole family. This is insane.
Cooper?
Absolutely insane.
Feels great.
It feels great. For the fans out there, what will you tell them? Let them know.
keep moving, man. Life's gonna knock you guys down so many times, even outside of playing video games, and it's just about getting back up. If you stay down, you're gonna stay down. Like, that's how it works. You guys gotta get up and keep moving. That's my best advice.
Cooper, you want to say anything, man? FNCS Global Champion.
I mean, coming from me especially, just chase your dreams, man. I played this game for 3 years, having little to no earnings, and I'm on the main stage now, being great. Feels good.
Let's go. Royal Arena, make some noise. Look at these teams. The fans behind you. Let them know. Before we get ready to say goodbye, let's toss it up to the casters to get their closing thoughts on the competition. Miro's come such a long way, so has Cooper. And yeah, man, it's such a heartwarming, conversation to unfold there, especially with the way Cooper says, hey, put in the practice, keep going at it, and next thing you know, you could be there. Because once that was Miro too, and now look at how far he's come.
Beyond earned bragging rights for the both of them, and Miro especially adding yet another FNCS champion accolade to his count. 6 is insane. The fact that you have made it that far is ridiculous, and Cooper, really looking forward to seeing just how many more you might be able to add on to that, because at this rate, it seems as though the sky's the ceiling for you, man.
Yeah, definitely. For the millions at home, too, follow our champions online. We definitely see the stocks going up, so you guys deserve all of your support and everything that you've earned so far. But from us here at the desk, myself, Monster D-Face, the best taco, Jacob PR, who, of course, had the opportunity to cast all these games, we thank you guys from us up here. We're going to send it on down to Zeke to close this out. Man, emotions are running high. It's hard not to get emotional. I want to get you guys closing thoughts.
I mean, the day as a whole was crazy. The weekend as a whole was incredible. And I mean, we got here, right? We got here from a whole year worth of Fortnite competitive action. I want to say a big thank you to the players, of course, that have put on such an incredible show throughout the entire weekend. The fans that have turned up here, not just today, from yesterday, the day before as well, from all of the times that we got to meet everyone, and everyone's been so lovely. Honestly, every single person I've got to speak to has been absolutely incredible. And to all the people watching at home as well, this is what Fortnite is about. These are the stories that this game can create. It is magical, and I wouldn't change anything for the world.
It has been an absolute pleasure working with all of the talent that we've had here, and you guys especially as well. I've been loving being on the desk with you all, and like you just reiterate, all of the fans, all of the players to showcase what Fortnite has to offer. Our amazing production team as well. This has been such an experience, and one that I will never forget. And Zeke, I thank you for, being the captain of the ship.
Being goofball supreme. That is what my job is. To everyone, thank you guys so much. From the talent crew, from Vivid, from Levin 2K, from Frankie Ward, from these two, your casters, the production crew, from Epic, to the fans, to the players. This is all possible because of you guys, your passion, your love for the game. It's hard not to get emotional, but man, as Minnie said, this is what this is all about. So we just thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you for your love of Fortnite. We cannot wait to see you all for 2024. So until then, as always, we love you. Keep yourself safe, and we'll see you on the battle bus. Badass.
will. You better bow. Give me an axe, give me a map, I'm hunting them down. Yeah, always at the